Hey everyone, thank you for joining me. So today I have the first of the 3 knives that I'll be giving away for the 2,000 subscriber giveaway. Real quick shout out to you guys for making this possible. So this is the CRKT AUX or AUX folder, and this knife was sent in by a supporter of the channel, so I just wanted to give a shout out to Chandler. Thank you for sending this in to get it customized for the giveaway. So really appreciate it. You guys are awesome once again. Can't say that enough. So before we get into it, I'll put the specs up on screen and we'll get right into it. So we have a drop point style blade made of HCR 13 MOV and a thumb disc for deployment, and the blade is riding on nylon washers. So it's not crazy smooth like bearings would be, but it is surprisingly smooth for just being on washers. So very good action. It does have a little bit of jimping on top. It's not super aggressive, but it does have a little bit of function. And this is a liner lock style knife. It has black GRN handles with basically a golf ball texture to them, which feels really good in hand. It's got a non-reversible deep carry pocket clip and a GRN backspacer with a little space for the lanyard. Now the ergos on this knife are really good. I'd say it's a very neutral shape, so it feels good in hand. And you can kind of land your thumb on top of that little, see that little drop there, so it does fit comfortably on top of the thumb disc. The pocket clip is a little bit of an issue in the back. It's not terrible, but it is noticeable when you are holding the knife in hand. And you do have some texture on that thumb disc. As you can see, there's some knurling for thumb flicking, which works great. And then you can actually spidey flick this knife too with ease. So very good knife all around. But let's get into the changes that I'll be doing for this knife, which are going to be the scales. I'll be switching them out for this green G-Carta. I believe it's apple green, the name of it. Not exactly sure, but it's a really nice green. And I wanted to do green since CRKT's logo is in green, and I figured it would be just a really good color to go with it. So that is what I'm going to be doing for the scales. I'll also be etching and stone washing the blade and liners. And then the last thing I'll be doing is anodizing the hardware and the thumb disc. So now that we know the changes that are going to be going on with this blade, let's take it apart and see what's going on the inside. Alright, so here it is all taken apart, and I did want to mention that the CRKT Hex Bit Driver has come in handy a lot since I've got it about 3 weeks ago, so I highly recommend this Hex Bit Driver. It is affordable and it does really good work. I'll leave a link down below where you guys can pick one of these up, but awesome tool from CRKT. But now that it's taken apart, it's a pretty simple setup. It's a little dirty, but that's fine. Nothing a little cleaning can't handle. But let's get to customizing it. Alright, so here it is all customized. Now we will look at the scales first, which I am really happy with how these turned out. Again, just a really cool green from G-Carta, and a cool pattern on there. Came out really well. Now I did mess up on recessing the hole for the pivot pin, which I slipped and it actually gouged out more material than I needed. But luckily I had some pivot pins from the Kaiser Mini Sheepdog. So these were blue, but I heat anodized them a bronze color. So luckily the pivot pin and the screw fit perfectly in this pivot collar. So I was able to make the hole a little bit larger, and now it fits perfectly in there. And now this knife has pivot collars, which normally it doesn't, but I think it looks pretty good when it's all put together, which we will see here in just a moment. But I did recess the pocket clip into the material, which turned out pretty good for hand milling. I tried to get as straight as I could, and it sits nice and flush now when the pocket clip is on. And the show side scale came out really well as well. I did do a nice bevel all the way around, as you guys can see, and then I had to create that recessed area for access to the thumb disc so that you can actually use the knife and it functions. And then I did etch and stone wash the liners, as you can see here. So really nicely stone washed. Nice darker look, which is what I was going for. And then I did the blade as well. Just a really nice stone wash. And then I heat anodized the thumb disc as well, a nice bronze color, just a little contrast. So all the hardware is heat anodized, and I didn't record etching and stone washing the blades since I do have a video on how to do that. I'll leave a link up in the corner somewhere up here. So if you guys haven't seen that video and want to know how to etch and stone wash a blade, you can feel free to check that video out. And then I did create the little back spacer from the G10 / carbon fiber material. I was going to get rid of the original one, but the back spacer actually kept your finger from touching the tip of the knife when it is closed. So I just decided to make a fresh new one, which looks a lot better and cleaner. And I got rid of that lanyard hole, which I'm just not a fan of, so it makes it look a lot cleaner. And that's pretty much it. So now that we talked about what I did to it, let's put it together and see what it looks like. Alright, so here it is all put together, and I think it looks really good. I thought I might have gone too far with the bronzing of the hardware, but I think it goes really well with the green. There's the back spacer carbon fiber. You can see the grain in there, which looks really good. I even heat anodized the stop pin just to kind of go with the theme of the whole knife. There's the pocket clip that I etched and stone washed. Goes with the blade and the liners. And as always, let me know down below what you guys think of how this thing turned out. And the action is still awesome on this knife. The drop shed is really good, even though it's writing on nylon washers. It wasn't writing as smooth before, but that was just because it was dirty. But good cleaning, and I fine-tuned it to make sure it is perfectly centered. And you can thumb flick it, spidey flick it, no problem at all. Just really happy that it functions properly. That's a big one, but there it is. I think it looks really good with that green G-Carta. And I made sure to give it a nice finish. I think I ended with 500 grit, and then put that tung oil to really bring out that green, which I think it did beautifully. There's the stone wash on the blade, which came out really, really well. I gave it a fresh edge, so it is super sharp. Give it a quick cut test just to show you guys. This thing is ready to go, and it means business. So happy with how the sharpening came out. Oh, and then the thumb stud is nicely heat anodized, a bronze color, which I think is a nice contrast against that dark blade. And those pivot collars look really, really good too. I give them just a lighter bronze, so the pivot pops a little more. So it's a little bit darker on the center. But there is the 2,000 subscribers, one of the knives. So 1 of 3. As always, thank you for watching. Appreciate the support. And as always, I will see you guys on the next one.